Okay, so welcome to the fourth video. The idea of this series is to try and create something that you can use for a portfolio that commercially sells. So what I've done is I've gone onto a site to find out something that's popular, and I've added some new features to make it different, and this is what we're going to be making. So you are able then to build on this basic template and create something that is popular commercially. So in this website, or in this playlist, we're making a machine learning review widget, and we're going to be focusing on creating the template for our menu page for the back end of our WordPress dashboard. So let's have a look at what that will look like. Okay, so in the last video we've made the dashboard menu. So we made this this menu button. Now in this video we're just going to be adding the template for this, and we're going to be focusing on this video of making sure that we can add CSS onto this dashboard so we can create these success or error message with a bit of color. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. Okay, so this should be a quick video. We've done a lot of this stuff before, so hopefully you can stop it and then try and attempt these tasks yourself. So we're going to be creating that template function for our main page. Remember, we have to match that up to the add menu page WordPress function that we created in the last video. We have to use headings for our main menu. We're going to be using HTML at that, so if you know basic HTML, you should be able to do that. We're going to be then just doing a simple if statement, checking if the table exists, so we're going to be using a bit of PHP for that. If it does exist, we're going to display an error, or if it's true and the table exists, we're going to display that green message that's saying success. If false, we're going to add an extra button that we'll be able to use to add those tables, which we'll be working on next video. So stop the video now, try and do those 5 tasks, and then compare your work with mine. Okay, so this is the code that we made in our last video. As always, if you didn't make the code, you can always get it from the link below in the descriptions. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to add in our add template method in our class. Okay, so I'm going to be putting that under the constructor. Oh no, I'm going to put it here because I'm going to call it add template. And then, so we've done the first task. We've created a template method for our menu page. We then need to close off the PHP and add in the HTML for our headings. So what I've done is I've just kind of closed off the PHP, added the HTML that I want, and I will open PHP back up. And I have done the first headings. So that's that one done. Now what I need to do is I need to create that if statement checking if the table exists. So I'm going to be in that PHP below it. I'm going to be using the if statement here, and then I'm going to be closing it up, because then in that if statement I then need to add my HTML with my CSS styling. Okay, so this is a normal if PHP statement that you've seen before. I'm using that object, that class's property, to kind of say if it's false. And remember, if it's false, this means that it has been found. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just adding a div class under my PHP. So what this is saying is it's basically I've put it as a class alert. In fact, I don't even need to do that because I can directly insert my styling into it, and I'm just saying I'm giving it a background color, giving a width, height, I've given it color properties and font size. So I've just directly inputted my style into the HTML, and for what we need there, that should be enough. Now I just need to make sure that I open my PHP back up, and that I close off that if statement there. So that is the first error message, but we also want to add in another error message to say that there is no table, and then we need to add a form button for that table. Okay, so the only thing that you need to be careful of here is just making sure that your opening and closing of the PHP connects up. So what I've done here is I've just done an else statement, and that means if the table was not found, we're going to add in another div box. Again, I don't know why I put class. I can just do styling directly. It should be the same. Oh, for some reason it's an extra height. Maybe we can just, let's keep it at the extra height, and it will be red instead of green. And the error message it will display is error, there is no table. So that's what will happen if they have an else. What we'll also do here is we're going to be putting a button in. Now, instead of in our previous videos, we had an option button, or we had a button that directly went to an option, so it allowed us to save these option settings. If you wanted to have multiple buttons, for example, and each button, if you click on it, does a function, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be sending that button to the admin post, and then what I'm going to be doing is then I'm just going to be setting this value here, this create table, and then in the next video I'll show you what happens, because what will happen then is we need to put a action in here that sets a method for us to do when that is called. So you'll see it on the next video, but if you're having a dashboard that has multiple buttons, it's probably easier to send it to admin post, send the button, the action here, to the admin post section instead of the options section, and then you can change the value you set and then create the functionality by adding that action onto that hook, and you'll see what I mean in my next video. Okay, so in fact, because we've echoed it here and we've just put create table, I can get rid of that button now, so it directly sends it to that create table there. I need to make sure that I have closed everything up. Okay, so I'm missing a okay, so I've closed the else statement up, I've closed the if, and my method is closed. So I think we should be able to have a look now. If I save it and then go into WordPress, I should be able to see an error message saying that there is no table, and it should display this button. So let's have a look. Okay, so I've come back because obviously what I haven't done is I haven't initialized my object. So I went to WordPress and nothing happened. And that's because you need to actually create the class object. So now if we save it and we activate the plugin, now there should be something there. So let's save that and then try that again. Okay, so we're in the WordPress, we're in the plugin section, we have our review plugin. Let's activate it, and it now has that review plugin menu bar. If we click on it, we have this adding, we have the headings, we have that error. That error has it's red. Yep. And we have this button. If you click on this button, nothing will happen. It'll take us to that admin post, but we haven't hooked up that admin post to our method, our class method yet. So we'll be doing that next video. So next video, we're going to be talking about how to add functionality to these buttons, and therefore we can have multiple buttons in this page. And as long as we are not saving any data to this, we're asking it to do an action. We want it to do something. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not using that option one, which is what I did in that Valentine's Day plugin. So if you want to compare the two, check out how I made that Valentine's Day plugin, and then compare the difference between that and using the admin post section. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video there. I think that this video was quite basic. We were just doing a bit of HTML, CSS, and PHP for the main menu page. There wasn't, I think, new concepts that would be useful to go over, so I haven't added those concept checking questions. If you're interested in understanding how there are different ways to manage that data in that dashboard back-end menu, I would suggest looking at that Valentine's Day plugin, and it will show you how you can use that to save data from that back-end, which you can use in your PHP widgets or in your JavaScript. Again, if you feel that you would like to continue knowing what the next step is in this project, please subscribe. Every Friday I'm going to be posting a video. If you like something about it, leave a comment. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.